How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Big Day Dave, and this is a map tour for a new mod map here in Farming Simulator 25 for all platforms called Into the Woods. And we're going to start with the description from the mod hub, and it reads, Welcome into the Woods. 71 plots with 4 of them having fields. Added crop types, rye, millet, mustard, lavender, poppy. Precision farming ready. Collectibles added to the map. A placed sawmill and BGA 1 megawatt. Both can be purchased. Warehouse logistics to buy your building needs. This is a other/fantasy map created by David Merriman and is 129.7 megabytes to download. There are no mods required for this map. And if we take a look at this map, it looks like this. Well, wait a minute. Why does this map look so familiar? Huh. I think I need to get my conspiracy hat on. My little, I need to get some tinfoil here. Need my tinfoil hat here. So this is Into the Woods. And this is Rolling Meadow. Another map by David Merriman. Into the Woods, Rolling Meadow. 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 I think I figured it out. They're the same map.
That's it. That's it. Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is a man! Oh my God!
Alright, I'm glad I got that out of my system. So now let's go ahead and take a look at this map. So if we go here and let's see, remove this, scroll over to our farmlands. We start out by owning farmlands number 34, which is our quote-unquote starting farm, and mainly it's a canola field that's ready to harvest. We cannot buy all the plots on the map, and the field prices do vary. So taking a look, we do have the 4 plots of land where there's actual fields. So we'll take a look at the 3 that we don't own. Number 1 here is 41,000. Got this one here for 39,000 and this one here for 41,000. And then pretty much the rest of this map is pure forestry. So starting out here, we got 44, 42, 42, 42, 40, 42. It's pretty much broken into pretty well marked off squares, especially down here in the south. You can see about $40,000 for all this stuff out here. This is where it kind of starts slicing and dicing, gets out of that kind of square orientation, especially because now we're starting to get into the town area. So it's going to start carving out these little sections of town here, which is why you can't buy all areas of the map. Again, you got this here, which carves out the BGA area, and so on and so forth. So you do get some plots of land that are kind of oblong or weird shaped, but for the most part, they're squared off, and it's mainly these bits that kind of follow along the roads around the map here. You do not start out with any animal pens. Contracts are available on this map, although it's just the kind of 4 other fields that are available at this point in time. You do not start out with any production points that you own, but there are a couple available on the map. And if we scroll over to statistics here, you will see down the bottom right hand corner there are collectibles on this map, 25 of them to be precise. So if we take a look at mods specific to this map, starting out under the buy menu here, there's no mods and DLCs tab here, so we have no mods specific to this map in this section. And then if we take a look under the build menu, we take a look at under each one of these tabs. We start out here with the buildings tab. There's nothing under any of these sub tabs scrolling across the top. Same thing here with productions, same thing with animals, decorations, and landscaping. There's no mods that are specific to this map on this map. So we do start up here at the shop, so let's go ahead and start taking a look around. First off, we have our shop trigger right here. And then, get my orientation. Back here, we have a repair trigger right here. A couple of electrical charging stations along the backside here. Now, you do have your starting equipment up here at the shop. You can see the tractor and all this stuff. That's yours. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and buy a truck to kind of run around in rather quickly rather than just using the tractor. So I'll go ahead and lease that out just like so. And then we'll get in here and fire up the truck. All right, so we'll start out south, heading in this direction. So coming around the back side of this building here, we have the warehouse sell point right there. And on this side, we have the warehouse buy point. You can kind of see it there. It's a better angle of it right there. Continuing to head south, you can see off in the distance there, we do have a gas station to my right. And then just in the corner right there, we do have another electrical charging station. So as we head north now, come over here, and directly in front of me is the animal dealer. You can you can purchase your animals using this icon here, or you can use the same icon at any pens and pastures that you place around the map. Now, you will notice that if you use this icon directly, you will incur an additional fee. That fee is associated to a delivery fee. The animal dealer is taking the animals from this location, delivering them to any of the pens and pastures you have placed around the map. Now, because you don't start out with any animal pens, that's going to be reliant on you to be able to place out an animal pen or pasture before you can actually start purchasing them. But if we go over to this and we click on it, normally a cow, an adult cow, will cost you $1,175 base price. It'll be an extra $100 per adult cow that you purchase directly using this icon. So you can save that money by bringing an animal trailer to this location here, parking within this hazard marked area, and then using this animal dialog box. It'll allow you to load into the animal trailer rather than any of the pens and pastures that you have placed down around the map, and then you will be able to deliver the animals yourself and you'll be able to save that money. So now, straight ahead is the animal dealer sell point right there. Around the back side over here, we have the manure buy point right there. And in front of me is the slurry buy point right there. Now we're going to go back here. Now, taking a look over here to my left, that is technically your starting farm and field. Now, when I say starting farm, I'm using that term very loosely because there's no starting like sleep triggers or buildings, pens, pastures, anything along those lines. It's just a field and some surrounding trees on this map. It's really not a whole lot going on in regards to your farm, and it's so well kind of set aside that you don't actually have a road that leads in and out of this field. So you're going to have to kind of start out by cutting a road into the field to be able to, get your equipment back here to harvest. So because this is technically the starting farm, let's go ahead and take a look at our starting equipment. So starting out here under this menu and vehicles, we have the Agromaz POV 5XL plow, the FarmTech EDK 650 trailer, the Horsch Credo 3 Power Harrow. We've got the Horsch Versa seeder. We also have the Lizard pickup, which is what we leased out. So that's not part of the starting equipment. We have a Massey Ferguson 7S210. We have the Massey Ferguson 8570 harvester, the header for the harvester, the header trailer, and that is everything. So let's go ahead and continue on the tour. Right up here, you'll see is the biogas plant. So we'll come around this side here. We have our liquid input right here. solid inputs are in these two bunks right here. You can see them here and here. You can purchase the biogas for $1.5 million. And then around this side over here, you'll get your liquid output right here, aka digestate. Head out this way. Go around this way. Heading down the road. And down the end of this driveway, we have the sawmill. Go ahead and stop right here. You can purchase it for $150,000. We have our wood chip output right here, our wood input right here with a wood cell trigger right here, and our outputs for our productions are back here. Get spun around. Now we'll head back out to the main road. Okay, coming up here, we'll make a left. Ooh. Now, tucked away over here to the right, we have straight ahead the lime station, lime buy point. Here we have the farmer's market. So one of the sell points for the farmer's market is there and there. The first one that we passed by, that's kind of the like the pallet sell point. Whatever palleted goods it will accept will go in there. And then the second one there is kind of the loose grain sell point. So now we're going to jet up to the very, almost northern portion of the map to take in our final points of interest. Which is another gas station right here. And in the background, it's a little hard to see over here, but you do have another electrical charging station right there. And it is indeed levitating. And that's it. That is everything here for Into the Woods. Now it's time to render my opinion, let you know what I think. 0 to 5 scale as per usual. So I made a little bit of a joke at the beginning of this, kind of pointing out that this is pretty much the exact same thing as Rolling Meadow. And I'll be honest with you, I think that this is actually slightly better than Rolling Meadow, and the reason I say that is because with Rolling Meadow there was a lot of bit of open areas. Now there are some very stark differences on this map compared to Rolling Meadow. The kind of water features that are on Rolling Meadow versus what's on Into the Woods here are definitely different, but it's, for the most part, the road networks are the same, the field placements are the same, the field shapes are the same. Like, for the most part, this is, for all intents and purposes, the same map. But regardless, I think this is a better version because in the other one, you had a lot more wide openness to it. So you could see into the distance quite a bit, which would make it to where your render ring was very apparent. You can kind of see it here in the roadway. If I look off in the distance there, you can see the available like high density rendering is off in the distance there, and it's just kind of faded away. But because you've got all the trees, all the kind of stuff that's kind of in the map, it doesn't really allow you to render all that stuff, or at least you don't notice it as much as you would on the other maps. So I like that. Color palette is pretty nice. Now, I will say, with the exception of the town area right here, the amount of color and stuff that's right there in town, that's a little bit too much for me personally, but it's not the end of the world. It kind of makes sense for there to be kind of flowers and stuff kind of planted all along town here. As you can see all the kind of pops of color, the reds, the purples, and yellows and all that stuff. That kind of makes sense. You're going to have people planting this kind of decoration, the high intensity color stuff, where people are going to be more trafficked. So that makes sense to me. It's not widely spread out across the map. A couple other things I found very interesting about this map were a couple of the kind of key features on it. And what I mean by that is there are certain areas that you have to go off-road for. You can see here, like this little river crossing that leads to nowhere. And if I take this back, follow this little road out again to nowhere, like this will eventually lead me back to the sawmill. So it's just a cool little, backwoods adventure on some of these places. But, as I was mentioning, the kind of off-roadiness feel that this map does have, like the field that's all the way up in the northwest corner, I'll actually drive out in that direction. You can see this does eventually take you to the backside of the sawmill over here. But to be able to get to that field over here, I mean, look at this. You're going to have to cut a path and cut your way back here at some point, because this is the only way you're getting to this field. And you're not going to get a harvester back here very easily. I mean, look at this. It just kind of opens up, and you've got yourself a little field here on the corner of the map. It's just a very interesting way of going about doing things, and having to widen out the road network to be able to get back here with certain equipment. It's going to be a challenge. You're going to have to really kind of put some thought into how it is you're going to want to do this. So I like that too. Like I mentioned, color palette is nice. For the most part, this is relatively flat-ish. There are definitely some hills and undulations on this map, which I definitely appreciate. I do like that. So it's not just a basic flat map, but it's got some chunks in it that it seem pretty, pretty stable, pretty flat-ish. So I don't know, it's one of those where, like, you can look around, you can see the undulations and where they exist, and a lot of it also is kind of done up with the kind of deco that's put in there, the big giant boulders and the rocks that are on the map, which again is really nice. I like that. It kind of really dresses it up. But again, for the most part, I like this map. I really like this map, and because it's very similar to Rolling Meadows, with the exception of them basically being the kind of polar inverses. When you take a look at the Rolling Meadows, the kind of wide open areas are the kind of grass areas, and then there's the tree areas are kind of more compact and dense on the Rolling Meadows. But here it's the exact opposite, to where you basically got mostly forest where the grass would have been, and then you've got kind of underlying grass in certain places as well on this map that are kind of built into the map. So like this little area here, this would have been strictly forest. Like this little green patch right here on Rolling Meadows, this all would have been grass. So basically everywhere there was brown on this map was grass. This little green was forest. And basically take it and reverse it for Rolling Meadows, and that's what you got. I mean, that's essentially what this map is Rolling Meadows just redone. And hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So what am I going to give this map at the end of the day? 0 to 5 scale as per usual. The Rolling Meadows, I gave it 3.5 out of 5. This one, I'm still going to give a 3.5 out of 5. But this one's approaching a 4. Like, this one definitely has a bit, in my opinion, a bit more flair than Rolling Meadows did. And I like it. I like that it's going to give you some different challenges to kind of look into and you'll have to overcome. So yeah, I like it. I think this is a good one. So all in all, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this map tour. If you did, please show me by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things the algorithms enjoy you doing. The show you engage with this channel and enjoying the content. And that being said, I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Take care.